Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to your reading for, sorry, this is not where I want it to be, but this is going to be your reading for mid-July 2023, whatever. I don't know. I lost all track of time. I never know what time it is, but right? Whatever. It's for the middle of the month. We're going to see what comes up for you here, Pisces. And you have this Rose's Kiss card and this great big love card, so obviously there could be love coming in for you. I told you at the beginning of the month that it really wouldn't surprise me if there was love coming in for you because of that Venus retrograde. I kind of disagree with astrologers who say that it's not a good time to find love, Venus retrograde. I've heard a lot of stories, and there are, just after studying a lot of astrology in general, there are a lot of people who meet the love of their life during Venus retrograde. So, again, if you're putting yourself out there and all that other stuff, I kind of feel that you could be discovering like the love of your life, or you could be meeting, a very important connection here, is what I would say. Pisces, the feeling I really get here is, I feel like this reading is saying that you are feeling misunderstood or, something along those lines. The end of this reading is looking really nice as well. So I feel like you're feeling maybe misunderstood, or like they're, maybe things aren't as clear as you want them to be in the middle of the month. It's actually a pretty good reading, even with that tower. I would say just intuitively, I feel like there could be some good things coming in for you. But you have this great big love card and this Rose's Kiss card as well. It's like throughout the whole entire reading, I feel like there's something that you feel makes you special. But I feel like you need to, it's like you need to stop feeling it, and I feel like you need to start presenting it. And I also feel like you need to get away from feeling as if people need to understand you. It's like, I'll just say, like, I've known a lot of Pisces. Obviously, I'm a Pisces. We schooled together. And I've heard other Pisces say to me, no one understands me, or, people don't understand me, or don't understand my point of view, or whatever. And this is a very Piscean thing. I mean, this is, part of being a Pisces, number one. Number two, the interesting thing is, like, a lot of those Pisces that have said that to me, they have never tried to be understood. So it's like, you can say all day long that people don't understand you, but if you don't try to be understood, then you're just being a Pisces that's, hiding in a shell, basically. So, I kind of feel for a lot of you, this is saying, okay, yeah, maybe people aren't understanding where you're coming from, or maybe people can't see your vision, which is the whole point of being a Pisces, is that, no one's going to understand you. They're going to think you're weird. They're going to think your ideas might not make sense, and maybe because it doesn't go along like conventional lines, but your job is to do it anyway. So I really feel with that great big love card is kind of saying you need to trust your heart at this time. We are in a very heart-based time, but I feel it is extra important for you to kind of believe in yourself right now. You have the Page of Wands, the Three of Cups, and the Seven of Wands. Again, some of you could be feeling a little bit lonely. You have this Xolo card. Well, I'll show you that in a minute. It's the Mexican dog. I can't say the full name. I'll show you in just a minute, right? I was born with a fat tongue, Pisces, and there are just certain words I cannot say, right? So, sorry. But what I would say here is that card is about, kind of being your own best friend and being able to support yourself. So, again, it's like, this is a weird reading because I feel it's so good. You end with this Diamonds in the Sky card, which is amazing. It's a card of like really going for something special. It's funny also to me that all the Oracle cards here are amazing. All the Oracle cards that you have at the top. The reading itself, there's some, toxic situations. There's the Tower. So we're going to have to see where this goes. But, again, I feel like some of you feel like you're on a journey here. It is interesting as well. It's almost like an interrupted journey is what I'm getting here, Pisces. Tower, Five of Swords, and the Knight of Wands. The Page of Wands starts an adventure, and then he just follows his enthusiasm. The Knight of Wands is about kind of being spontaneous. And I feel like the Knight of Wands is saying there will always be, little tower moments. There will always be little things that pop up when you're trying to build something important in your life, like a business, or it could be anything. It could be trying to build a family. It could be whatever it is, whatever is important to you. There will always be little things that pop up. Your job is to not quit. Your job, this reading is saying you need to become an overcomer. I feel the universe has been training you to become an overcomer, to overcome the obstacles that get in your way. And I feel you have a great opportunity to really show off, which, all your readings have been about this, basically. Makes perfect sense with your astrology. If you want to share your voice, now's your time. Jupiter in your third house. That Pluto going into Aquarius next year again will be amazing for you. Everything is lining up, for you to really stand out. But I feel you need to, there's a little bit of, prove it energy here. As in, I feel like the universe could be saying, prove that you really want this. You could also be encountering obstacles with people in your life, who I don't think they're really getting in the way of what you're doing, but maybe you feel that people don't believe you right now, right? That's kind of like the feeling you get, not as in you're lying, Pisces, but as in maybe you feel people aren't supporting you, or they don't believe that you're capable of doing something that you're saying you can do. And I really feel this is saying you need to commit even more. Seven of Wands is a card of conviction. It's a card that says when you know that you know, when you believe something so deeply that you believe that you're going to be successful, you will be successful. So, I feel like there's something here about kind of like your deep-held beliefs. But let's see what is going on for you here, Pisces. I'm going to clarify with the Lenormand because why not? You have this heart card. It says love, passion, romance, crush, joy, fulfillment, pleasure, affection. There you go. Definitely could be love. Could be a fire sign coming in for you. You've had a fire sign with me. I do feel like it could be a Scorpio. It could be a Scorpio with fire or fire with Scorpio. Take it how it resonates. It would make sense to me, like if it was a fire sign with a bunch of Scorpio. I always say that to me, Scorpio is the perfect match for Pisces, but number one, I don't believe in sun sign compatibility. For every person that says, oh, this person and this person doesn't work well together, I can show you a million couples that work perfectly well together that are whatever that match is. So, to me, it's all BS, but, there you go. With the Three of Cups, you have the bouquet. Someone wants to give you a gift. I feel like someone wants to give you something here. Or it's like someone's really going to appreciate you here, Pisces, as well. But I feel like this starts with appreciating yourself. You have this magical shapeshifter map card here, and I'll show you that in just a minute. It's the third row. That is a card of, and you have that Sholo card, the dog, which, again, I'll show you in a minute, but it's all about being your own best friend. It's like all this is saying that there's something here about needing to believe in yourself more. It's like when you believe in yourself, other people believe in you. It's like there's like a weird thing I've noticed, right? And I don't want to drag this reading out. We're already going too long here, I'm sure. So I don't want to waste your time. But, it's like one of those things where I've just noticed there's certain people online where they kind of spring up out of nowhere. It's like all of a sudden they become, popular or whatever. But there's like something about those people. Trust me, I've been trying to figure out what the secret sauce is, right? There's like something about those people. They're like people that just kind of like appear out of nowhere. Maybe they become famous on YouTube, or, maybe they become a big business person all of a sudden or whatever. There's something about it. It's almost like they just are, without doing anything, they just kind of step into the energy. I really believe that those people who just kind of appear, I'm sure you've seen it before, I think they just, really embrace the energy of whatever it is that they want to become. And I kind of feel that you have that power. I really feel you need to embrace that power at this time. I'm not saying this is going to be easy, and I don't think you should want it to be easy either. Like, people always tell me how hard their life is and all this other stuff, and I get it. Life sucks, absolutely. We're not, this is probably maybe one of the hardest planets to be, incarnated on, period. But at the same time, it sucks for everyone. So it's like, get over yourself and put in the work. It's like, and 9 times out of 10, the people that tell me, and something just touched me on the wrist there, which was freaking weird, but 9 times out of 10, people who, say these things, it's like the problems they have are never as hard as like other people's problems. So it's like, don't, work hard, Pisces. With the Seven of Wands, you have this anchor card. The anchor is about like safety, security, comfort, protection. When you think about it, a boat anchors itself in a harbor for protection, right? So it doesn't drift out to sea. So I kind of feel for a lot of you that there's something that really could be setting you up for a long time. I actually kind of feel good about this Four of Pentacles. I actually feel good about the Tower. I'm not gonna lie, there could be some destruction coming in for you, but this is not like a bad destruction. It's like if you're working on something that is taking up a lot of your time, and it's like there could be a tower moment, but it leads to something better. I'll give you an example. Like years ago, I always say I had a business failure. I was making a ton of money at a very young age, and that business failure, I did nothing after that. I was like in this weird space mentally, and all this other stuff, and I had to dig myself out. But you know what? That business also mentally just put me in a really not a great place, like in general. So it's like I had to stop doing it as well. And what I created is, this channel. Then I created other businesses after, and, things were much better. And all these things, like I built it up smarter, better. That's what I'm trying to say here. So it's like there was a tower moment, and I'm not saying you're about to suffer for 4 years, but there was a tower moment that led to something much, much better. Next, you have this Xolo card. Again, this is the Mexican dog there, and, you know, it's a card. This card is a card of being your own best friend. You also have this other card that I'm not going to try to say. Again, these cards are all in ancient Aztec, and this card is the marigold card, the marigold flower, and you have the hummingbird there as well. And so I feel like it's like something is about to open up to you here. I don't remember, again, people always, by the way, people always ask me, how do you like know all the Oracle card meanings? I'm just the king of useless information. So I read the Oracle books when I get these cards, and I just like photographic memory, basically memorize it. But if anything important, stuff for school, math, all that other stuff, I can't remember a goddamn thing, right? But what I would say here is that I don't remember exactly what the story is, but, you know, the marigold, with the hummingbird, it's like the hummingbird, the story, the ancient story is that it lands on the marigold and it causes the marigold to open up. So I kind of feel like that is you. Hummingbirds are symbols of having gone on like a very long journey. So it's like your story is special. I feel like you've had hummingbird cards with me in the past as well. And this to me is saying that, you know, there's something very special inside of you. The hummingbird goes on a very long journey, a very long migration to get to the nectar. So you've been on this very long journey. I feel like you've had to be your own best friend. Maybe you feel like people don't understand you, or, you know, people leave you or whatever. But it's like something's about to open up for you, Pisces. You know, this is a card. This marigold card here, it's a card of, you know, joy and happiness and good things coming in for you. You have the Tower, Four of Pentacles, and the Queen of Cups. I almost feel like there's something you have to let go of here, Pisces. You know, we go this way, Four Swords down to the moon. Maybe there was some sort of illusion or fantasy or something that you thought was going to be better than it actually was in your life. Could be anything. I'm not picking up on, you know, I'm not like picking up on just like love, for example. I feel this could be anything that didn't work out. And I really feel you're kind of, you know, pushing towards things. I also do feel that you could be surprising people, again, if you embrace this energy. I don't want to make this sound easy. You know, I feel like it's going to require work, but you've done a lot of work. You've been on a long journey. I feel like all you have to do is land on that marigold. It's like there's something inside of you that needs to come out, which I feel like I always say to you. Four of Pentacles, you're trying to protect yourself too much here is what I would say. I also feel like the more okay you are with people not understanding you, Pisces, the better. It's like, you know, some of the smartest, brightest minds are the most misunderstood people on earth. So, you know, I feel for a lot of you, it's like you don't want to be understood. You want to be, you know, there's an effect, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's like the contrarian effect. It's like people who are contrarians, they usually stand out in the world more because they're going the opposite direction, right? So I feel like this is saying don't be afraid to be different. You have the Queen of Cups here. Again, it is funny. If you have love coming in, I feel like a very supportive person. You know, I feel like the words that are popping into my head are that they come in more of a supportive role. So you could be meeting a person who really just comes in to support you, to guide you. I don't know, it feels good. I also feel there could be a lot of just you following your heart. You have the Heart card, you have the Queen of Cups. She really values her heart, what her heart is telling her to do. And I feel like that's what you need to do, Pisces, clearly. So let's see here. With the Tower, you have the Star. It says hope, recognition. You know, this is a card of hope, recognition, faith, renewal, like kind of like the Star card. It's also a card of fame, fortune, reputation. So again, I feel like you could be getting a lot of attention. I also feel like you could be really surprising people here. But the reason, I forgot to say this. At the beginning of the reading, I was getting this message here, Pisces, that I don't want to say you're proving people wrong, but, you know, there could be a certain energy like that, where maybe recently, I feel like something happened to you recently, where maybe you feel like people, you know, I wish I had a good example, because I feel like it's different for all of you, but maybe people haven't believed in you, or you feel like people don't believe in your dreams or what you're going to accomplish. I feel like the Tower is coming up like this because it's saying, like, now is the time for you to prove these people wrong and stand out and star, you know, build a reputation of being an overcomer. I feel like, you know, I see this again, you know, in the future. I feel like people who doubted you are going to be coming to you, like, in the future, like begging for help, basically. So, you know, and, you know, that's what I'll say here. There you go. With the Four of Pentacles, you have this Man card. Definitely could be new love coming in for you for sure. So I do feel this could be someone coming in for you. Again, this card is Aries, so in the Lenormand, so it could be an Aries. You always get Aries. You've been getting Aries a lot, which I think is weird too, but, you know, there you go. With the Queen of Cups, you have the snake. I would be careful of anyone toxic or you have the anchor, the snake, the devil right here. So there could be a person who's kind of like holding on to you and who won't let you go. And so if you have a person like that, I would definitely be very careful of that. I would also be careful of temptation. Like if someone from the past is coming back to tempt you, I would be careful with that energy just in general. Next, you have this magical map shapeshifter, or it says magical map shifter, and then you have this moonlight card as well. So, these cards, number one, that magical map shifter card is kind of like a card of opening up to your true potential or opening up to something that could make you very successful. I also feel like that moonlight card, it's almost like it's popping into my head. I'm not getting the like traditional meaning of this card. It's like popping into my head that there could be some new opportunities coming in for you that it's like a trigger. That's what's popping into my head. It's almost like the energy is being triggered at this time for you to, step into a new opportunity. You have the Five of Swords, Four of Swords, and the Devil. Again, for some of you, I feel like you have healed from a person, and I do feel this reading is saying, like, don't go back yet. We have Venus going retrograde. Venus retrograde is not necessarily like Mercury retrograde, but it can still bring people back from the past. The Four of Swords also recovery. So again, it says you have recovered to a certain point. I actually feel kind of good about this Five of Swords here. The Five of Swords is a card of winning at all cost, but again, I feel like you could be really kind of seen as winning at this time. And again, I keep getting that word overcomer. It's like you need to, I feel like you need to step into that energy of being an overcomer or being the type of person who overcomes certain issues and problems. You have the Devil here. I would be careful of anything toxic from the past. I feel like you need to set yourself free, especially if you had like an energy vampire or someone who stole your energy in the past. I would be very careful of that. I almost feel like you were someone's supply here, Pisces, so I would be careful. With the Five of Swords, you have this Stork card. The Stork can represent birth, number one. So if you're it could be the birth of a child, but it could be like the birth of an enterprise or a business or something like that as well. I also feel you're very, again, this is a card of, it is kind of like a card of independence. And I do feel like you're very independent at this time and being, I feel like you're in this energy of being more independent, being able to take care of yourself and, all that other good stuff. With the Four of Swords, you have the Mice. The Mice is a card of loss. It is a card of fearing loss. It is also a card of like small improvements. I feel like you need to move towards bigger improvements. The story of the Mice and the Lenormand is that mice, they chew through walls very slowly. So they make very slow progress on whatever it is that they're trying to do. But, it's kind of one of those things where you could easily, make bigger progress. I kind of feel you're playing a little bit too small, maybe, at this time, and I feel this card is encouraging you to play big. You also have this right here, Snake to the Mice. Snakes eat mice, and, this could be kind of talking about competition. I wouldn't worry too much about competition, but again, if you're not doing things, like I talk to YouTubers all the time, like people constantly come to me for YouTube advice, and I'm happy to give it, and but I something that I hear all the time from smaller YouTubers is, oh, I'm doing exactly what everyone else is doing, and and I'm not being successful. But really, they're not. Really, when I look at what they're doing, they're not even close, right? So the mice can also represent those small details, the small things that make the difference. It's like some small YouTubers, it's like their videos are actually pretty good, but maybe they open up and they apologize for their grandmother farting in the room next to them, and they apologize for the work that's going on outside and all this other stuff. And I'm like, you're losing 90% of your people right up front, right? So not to go on a rant here, but again, if you have a business or anything like that, there might be those tiny little things that you're missing out on that could really make the difference. So don't ignore the small stuff. With the Devil, you have the Garden, and the Garden's about parties. I would socialize. You have the Three of Cups here. If you're looking to, I feel you need more social energy, and I also feel you need to be okay being misunderstood. And number one, don't try to be understood, but also I would say you can't say that people misunderstand you when you don't try to be understood. So you can't just, it's a cop out. It's like people say this like in breakups. I've heard it in breakups where people are like, I feel like you wouldn't understand, but they never try to explain it in the freaking first place. So it's like, to me, it's just a cop out. And, what I would say here is that I feel you need to go be around people. Could fill you up with energy or something like that. And by the way, this right here is very good for love. Heart to the man, to the garden. There could be love coming in for you through socializing, going to a party, going to an event. So I would definitely do that. Next, you have this card that says, when the weavers call your heart. Move towards your heart, Pisces. Then you have all the diamonds in the sky, which I love this card here. This card is a card of really going for, your goal. Going for something in the sky, going for that, big dream. And that's what I feel like you need to create at this time. I feel like the universe has heard you as well. It's like both of them are kind of saying to me that the universe has heard your prayers, or has heard kind of the calls that you have made. Sorry, let me turn off my alarm here. I feel like the universe has heard you, and now you need to like start putting in the work, is kind of what this is saying to me. You have the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Swords, and the Moon card. It is interesting that you start with the Page of Wands and go to the Knight of Wands. I feel that you could have some of those moments where you start a project and like one of your ideas doesn't work. I feel like this is saying keep going, don't stop. It's like whatever you tried, it didn't work, but now it's time to try something else. He sets a goal. He doesn't care how he gets there. He's willing to be spontaneous. He's willing to, try new ways of doing things. I feel the universe is giving you a little bit of a blessing here as well. For whatever reason, the Queen of Swords is popping into my head as a blessing. I feel she is bringing you clarity, or if you haven't had some answers on some things in your life, I feel you are getting the answers at this time. So, there could be a certain level of clarity. You have the Moon, which is your energy. I always say, to me, the Moon is a good card. I personally like the Moon in the tarot. I know some people say it's fears, fantasies, illusions, it can represent all those things. But, what I will say is that there are some mountains in the background here, which represents achievements. The Moon does not say stop. The Moon says work towards those mountains because they represent achievements. And I feel you really need to keep putting in the energy, working towards whatever you're working towards, and don't give up with this energy is what I would say. Also, when you think about it, again, I feel like you're really setting yourself apart right now, Pisces, and yeah, people aren't going to understand you, which seems to be the theme of this reading, but you're about to really stand out in a big way. Next, with the Knight of Wands, you have this Lilith card. Again, this deck, it's just like a random Lenormand deck. It has like 5 or 6 random oracle cards in it that are not Lenormand cards. This says sensual, powerful female, a wild and tame passion, independence, mystery. You could be attracting a very mysterious person. I would say I would be careful if they're toxic. I would make sure that someone is kind of giving you what you're giving them, and make sure you're doing things in balance. Although I do feel this could be a very good connection. I also feel, for whatever reason, I feel you could be attracting someone who's like very similar in a lot of ways to an ex, but very different in others. So, I really feel, I wouldn't say the universe is testing you, but I would say that the universe is kind of like saying, okay, this is the higher vibration version of what you've dealt with in the past. So, are you going to run away from this, or are you going to be able to tell that they put in the work? It's like maybe your past person didn't put in the work, but maybe this person does. But also maybe your fears with that Moon card are saying like, oh, I don't know, they are just like the past person. So trust the evidence. I also will say, I don't necessarily like this. The snake to the mice to Lilith. To me, and also with that Knight of Wands, I would be very careful if you had an inconsistent person from the past. I feel like they could be coming in to just continue to be inconsistent. With the Queen of Swords, you have the key. This is a card of answers and like something opening up for you here. So I do feel like something is kind of unlocking. I also feel there's like I get a certain breakthrough energy, and I feel like it's happening now. I almost feel like you can't believe it. I'm not trying to be clickbaity here either, Pisces. And sorry, I dropped this camera. All the camera experts on YouTube keep coming out and telling me what to do with this camera. No, I dropped the camera. That's why it has nothing to do with whatever you think. So there you go. But again, I feel like there's some sort of breakthrough happening here where it's like a breakthrough you've been waiting. Maybe you've been hoping for some answers. Sometimes I think with Pisces, Pisces can be seen as a person who jumps from like project to project to project and never really finishes anything. But really, I feel sometimes that for Pisces to finish something, I feel they really have to feel it. Or at least I do. It's like, there are just certain things where I do them and then I don't finish them. But at the same time, there are other things that I more than finish that I do really, really well, because it's like I feel it more. I feel it's something that I should be doing. So again, I hope that makes sense. I feel you're feeling a feeling about something. Could be anything. Could be a business, a relationship, whatever. And I would trust that feeling. With the moon card, you have the ship. You have the anchor and the ship. And this would represent travel. Some of you definitely could be traveling at this time. You could be going somewhere new with this energy. I also feel some of you could be moving as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was some sort of, change or a new beginning coming in for you here, Pisces. But that looks really good. Actually, I will show you this. Yeah, here you go. You have this whale spirit. It says, great worry over nothing. I didn't want to use those. I wanted to use these right here. But yeah, Pisces, I feel like that is, again, your middle name. I feel like worrying about nothing is kind of comes up a lot for Pisces, right? We're going to pull 5 main themes. You have this impulsiveness card. I actually feel there could be a lot of luck in being impulsive. If you have a sudden inspiration or a sudden idea that jumps into your head, in work or business, I would do it. I feel it'll be very successful. You have this empathy card here. I feel you are attracting a person has a lot of empathy. I feel they're a very caring person. I feel like they really listen to you. I'm wondering if you dealt with a person in the past who ignored you or just didn't give you a lot of time. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Or they just didn't listen to you. I feel like it was all about them. So, especially with that snake mice to Lilith, I feel it's someone who really breadcrumbed you. So, some of you might be coming off of that energy. And I feel this is the total opposite. Like, I really feel there's a person coming in that kind of really gives you the time. Next, you have this adaptability card. You're going to have to learn adaptability. You have that Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is like the card of adaptability, being adaptable, learning different ways of doing things. Again, I'm a Pisces. I get it. The one thing that stops me sometimes is like a little thing pops up and I'm like, I'm not going to keep working on this project because it's frustrating or whatever, right? And so I think the name of the game, you need to change your middle name to Overcomer. So I feel you need to just be adaptable. Understand that maybe things aren't going to work out exactly how you think, and that's okay. And then just try something else. You have this affair card. Definitely love coming in for you if you want it. I feel like it feels a little impulsive as well. It could be one of those things where it's, someone slides into your DMs or, whatever, Pisces, and I would just go for it. This is not a bad affair like cheating. This is an affair like love, just love entering into your life. And, that's kind of what I get there. Next, you have this birth card. I would be careful if you're not trying to get pregnant. If you are, go for it. Great. But this could also just be the birth of an idea. Again, you have that stork card, and the stork can be the birth of like a business, an enterprise. It could be just a new you as well, which it wouldn't surprise me. With that marigold card, it's like something is opening up inside of you. What I would say after babbling on here for almost 30 minutes is that I really feel that hummingbird card is kind of like a catalyst. I feel it's almost as if like a threshold or something needs to be crossed for the flower in your life to open up. There's the mythology of the marigold with the hummingbird. The hummingbird, once it lands on it, the flower opens. And, it kind of brings a burst of joy and happiness. We have like a burst of joy and happiness happening here on this card. So I feel like you're on the cusp of something very important in your life, but if you don't cross the threshold, nothing is going to happen. So whatever you're thinking about doing or whatever you want to do, I would do it, Pisces. This looks really good. Love it. So, there you go. Thank you for being here and definitely enjoy the rest of July.